Welcome to Tirumala Vaibhavam YouTube channel. Today we will dive into another spiritual story. Do subscribe and like the video for more such deep spiritual content.
Welcome! We're about to dive deep into a question that has echoed through the ages, right from the heart of the Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 5, the Yoga of Renunciation of Action, asks something really fundamental. To find real, lasting peace, do we have to walk away from the world? Or can we find it right here, in the middle of our chaotic, beautiful, everyday lives? You know, it's the classic dilemma, the monk on the mountain versus the person in the marketplace. And this chapter, it gives us a path that brings those two worlds together in a way that is just incredibly powerful and practical.
So this is the big question, isn't it? It's what Arjuna is facing on the battlefield, and honestly, it's a question for any of us trying to live a more meaningful life. On one side, you have this ideal of total inaction, of renouncing everything to go meditate on a mountaintop, completely detached. And on the other, you have this idea of being fully engaged in life, working, raising a family, and contributing to society. So which one is it? Which path truly sets us free? This is the core problem that Krishna is about to solve for us.
And you can just feel Arjuna's confusion here, can't you? It's so relatable. He's thinking, wait a minute. On one hand, you tell me the goal is to step back from all this. But on the other, you're telling me to fight, to engage, to act with devotion. His plea is so simple, so direct. He's basically saying, Krishna, please, just give me a straight answer. Which one is actually better? And that honest, raw question, well, it opens the door to one of the Gita's most life-changing teachings.
All right, so let's unpack Krishna's incredible response. Now, he doesn't just give a simple yes or no. That's not his style. Instead, he starts by clarifying what we're even talking about. He's going to break down what renunciation really means, what selfless action truly is, and then he'll show us how these two paths, which seem to be polar opposites, actually merge into one single powerful way to live.
So Krishna starts with something really interesting. He says, look, both paths are good. They both lead to the ultimate goal of liberation. So in that sense, you can't really make a wrong choice. But, and this is a huge but, he then says that for most of us, for people living in the world with jobs and families and responsibilities, the path of dedicated action, karma yoga, is actually better. It's more practical. Now, that sounds like a bit of a paradox, right? So let's see why he says that. Okay, this right here is the key to unlocking the whole chapter. The confusion comes from the fact that the word for renunciation, sannyasa, has two very different meanings. The first is what we all picture, formal renunciation. You know, the monk leaving everything behind. But Krishna introduces a second, much deeper meaning, renunciation in action. And that is karma yoga. It's not about leaving life. It's about engaging with it fully, your job, your family, everything, but from a place of inner quiet, offering up everything you do. And the most amazing part? This path is available to every single one of us, right here, right now.
This is a total game changer. Krishna completely redefines what it means to be a renunciate. He calls this person the Nitya Sannyasi, the eternal renunciate. And he says a true renunciate isn't defined by their clothes or where they live. It's all about their state of mind. It's not about what you give up on the outside. It's about the freedom you have on the inside. The person who isn't yanked around by their likes and dislikes, who stays steady through success and failure, that person is a true renunciate, whether they're a CEO, a parent, an artist, or a soldier. So here's the bottom line. Krishna's recommendation is crystal clear. Sure, you can try to withdraw from the world, but that's incredibly difficult to do without first purifying your mind. And what's the best way to purify the mind? You guessed it, selfless action. That's why karma yoga is the more practical and, in a way, the superior path. He's saying that rolling up your sleeves and engaging with life with the right attitude is a far more powerful spiritual practice than trying to run away from it all too soon.
Naturally, the next question is, okay, this sounds great, but how? How do you actually live like this? How do you act in the world without getting all tangled up in it? Well, to answer that, Krishna gives us one of the most beautiful and powerful metaphors in the entire history of spiritual thought. Wow. Just take a moment and let those words land. This verse is really the heart of the whole chapter. The idea is that when you perform your actions as an offering, without being desperately attached to how things turn out, you remain free. You're untouched by the consequences, just like a lotus leaf that lives its whole life in the water but is never, ever wet by it. It's a promise of total freedom, right in the midst of action.
And this image of the lotus just says it all, doesn't it? The lotus is born in the mud. It grows up through the murky water, and then it blossoms on the surface, perfectly clean and beautiful. The water is like our world, full of ups and downs, successes and failures. The karma yogi, like that lotus leaf, lives fully in the world, but they let the experiences just roll right off, without clinging, without leaving a stain. You are fully engaged, but you are never entangled.
And this quote brings that ancient wisdom right into our modern lives, because this is where it gets real for us, right? True renunciation isn't about wearing a certain robe or living in a certain place. The real challenge, the real spiritual practice, is to live like that lotus leaf, at the office, in our family, when we're staring down a deadline. True renunciation is an inside job. It's the freedom we find not by escaping life, but by walking right through it with an open, non-clinging heart.
So, what happens to someone who actually masters this? What does life look like when you can live this way? Well, your whole perception of reality starts to shift. You begin to see the world with a kind of wisdom, a clarity that goes way beyond the surface. You can think of the practice of karma yoga as a way of cleaning the windshield of your mind. It slowly scrubs away all the dust and grime of ignorance, that core ignorance of thinking we're just this little separate ego. And when that ignorance is finally gone, the knowledge of who you really are shines through. It illuminates everything, just like the sun coming up in the morning and revealing the entire world in its true light. Now get ready for this, because this idea is absolutely revolutionary. This is what's called samadarshana, or equal vision. It means the wise person whose mind is clear literally looks out and sees the exact same divine light, the same essential being shining in everyone and everything. In the most respected scholar, in a cow, in an elephant, a dog, and even in someone that society considers an outcast. It's not just a nice thought, it's a direct, felt perception of reality. And seeing the world this way, it changes everything about you. So what does this self-realized person look like? Well, their minds are steady. They're established in a deep sense of calm, unshaken by life's drama. Imagine being off that emotional roller coaster of getting super excited by the good stuff and totally crushed by the bad. Their doubts are gone. Their minds are disciplined. And this is so crucial. That inner peace just naturally overflows as a deep, heartfelt desire to help all beings. They find their happiness not from things outside, but from this unlimited source of joy within. And this brings us to the ultimate destination of this path. The whole point, the fruit of all this practice, is finding a peace that is absolute, that is unshakable, and that is discovered entirely inside your own heart. You know how most of us spend our lives chasing happiness outside of ourselves? We think the next purchase, the next promotion, the next relationship, that will be the thing that finally makes us happy. But the Gita says that all external pleasure is temporary. The wise person gets this. They turn their search around, they go inward, and they discover a fountain of joy that doesn't depend on anything or anyone outside. That inner happiness is the real sign of a free soul. And here's that beautiful connection again, just to make sure we get it. This inner peace is not some selfish, isolating state. It's directly linked to compassionate action in the world. The people who find this freedom are described as being always busy working for the welfare of all living beings. Their personal peace overflows as universal love. Inner peace becomes outer service. So, as the chapter closes, Krishna gives us the ultimate formula for peace. He says true, lasting peace comes when we have a profound shift in perspective, when we stop seeing ourselves as the lonely star of our own little show and realize that a higher, loving intelligence is the true beneficiary of all our actions, the source of everything, and the greatest friend to every single living thing. When you really get that, all the anxiety and fear that come from the ego, they just dissolve. All right, we have journeyed through the incredible wisdom of Chapter 5. We've seen how the conflict between doing and not doing gets resolved. So let's just take a breath, recap the biggest takeaway, and see where this path leads us next.
So, if you take one thing away from Chapter 5, let it be this. True renunciation isn't about what you do, it's about how you do it. The path of karma yoga, acting selflessly, with dedication, but without attachment to the results, is the most powerful way to clear your mind, gain wisdom, and find a peace that nothing can shake. It lets you live fully in the world, just like the lotus leaf on the water, engaged but completely untouched. And this beautiful teaching leaves us with a very practical, new question. It's like, okay, I get it. I understand the philosophy. But to stay calm and unattached like that, to be free from all those desires and fears, that takes a lot of mental control. And let's be honest, our minds can be pretty wild and messy. So the question becomes, how do we get the mind on board with this plan?
Well, that is the perfect lead-in to the very next chapter of the Gita. The answer to how is the next piece of the puzzle. The journey continues in chapter 6 with the path of dhyana yoga, the yoga of meditation, where Krishna gives us the practical, step-by-step techniques for actually training and mastering the mind. I truly hope you'll join us as we explore that path together.
That was today's story. Please do like, share and subscribe for more such interesting stories. Let's connect with another story. Till then, stay blessed.